Apologies for the a little bit of a complicated start, but it would be really great if we were able to record it, because some of the participants or interested people really wanted to join, but none of these timings were suitable to them at this moment. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. I guess I have to do it here as well. And just to introduce myself, my name is Katja Monikainen. I work for Salt. Mostly my responsibilities are business development, and I do also quite some amount of marketing for Salt, and also I'm involved in training. And today's webinar is about what Salt is in general and how you can use to help it in your daily work, either to hire experts or actually to sell expertise on Salt. Our agenda includes first talking about the expert marketplace in general. Then we'll talk about how to mobilize teams through Salt. And then after that, we're going to talk about how you can also, or how our experts hire through Salt. And then after that, we'll be talking about working on Salt and also the white label solution. And the white label solution is going to be presented by one of our clients, and he is going to talk about how they use it for their purposes. So if we start from the marketplace itself, as you probably are aware, at least in general, what Salt is, it is an expert marketplace for green economy, for clean tech, for sustainability. It is a community of over 3,000 plus experts, a group of people who want to create positive impact in the world and want to help others make things smarter and more sustainable. So the purpose of it is really to help others to create positive impact as well. And the idea is that anyone looking for solutions and expertise can very quickly and effortlessly mobilize the right teams of experts for themselves. The way that it is structured, you can see it in terms of a catalog, I guess. It is structured alphabetically, so it's very easy, kind of very user-friendly interface in that sense. You can filter experts by through hashtags, categories, and for example, environment and processes, and then it will find those experts that may have expertise in these areas. We use keywords as search function, so the better the profile is of a person, the more information there is in the profile, the better it is, or the easier it is for us to find people and match people with the right projects and clients. Or if, let's say, I would take these away, then I could say mobility. It also finds those people who have indicated that they may have something to do with mobility issues. In addition to this, to just looking around and browsing around, anyone can very quickly start chatting with an expert as well. So you just press on the chat button, and here you get a chat. Anyone also can invite experts if they're interested, or they want to invite some of their colleagues, or there's also an opportunity to just click on invite an expert, and here it is. There's a form, email, first and last name message. And one can also invite multiple experts at the same time. This is also very handy if you're working on Solved not as an expert, but if you are working on Solved as a client. So if you would like to invite inside the common workspace some of your own stakeholders and your team members, then all you need to do is click on Invite Experts and add all of your team members that you want to add. And here. Is there any questions about, in general, about Solved Marketplace and about the catalog? If there are no experts questions, then I'm just going to move to how to mobilize teams through Solved. So there are two ways in which we're currently mobilizing teams and finding the right people. So number one is if a client is interested to find the right experts, what they typically do is they would create a project. They would create a project on Solved through this button here, and you basically insert the name of the project, short description, brief project summary, and also there's a difference in the confidentialities, private and confidential. So a confidential project is the kind of project that only is visible to the project members. And the private project is the kind that anybody on the platform can actually see. This means that typically it might be a project of a public organization, a project that may want to have some publicity or potentially crowdsource ideas from anyone interested. And then submits. Whenever a project is created, a notification is sent to our community, and anyone who's interested is able to send a request or express their interest just by clicking on this project. As you can see, I am not able to, because these are all my projects, and I'm also a super admin, so I don't have a button here, but there is a button that says join the project, which means that by clicking on it, it sends the project owner a message, a direct chat message. Wait, give me. This is an example. So in this case, here are all the project owners, and a person has clicked on wanting to join a project, and this is the kind of message that we receive. Then after that, it is up to us or the client to look at the information, ask for CV, ask for further clarification, why this person would like to join, and so forth. So this is one way how a list of interested people is collected. But the second way is, of course, Solved's own team. So at this moment, what we do is we manually pick the right experts for a client. So we do use the expert catalog fairly extensively, and we use keywords to search the right people, and afterwards we examine the profiles and we contact interesting people separately and ask them to provide us more information and recommendations. And this is basically the two ways. Then when we have two lists of people, shortlisted people, we go through all of them together with the client, and the client is the one who eventually selects the right team. And then once the team is selected, the way that the team members are contracted is that Solvd creates a contract with each of the team members. And Solvd is usually either has a ongoing contract with a client that may be kind of on a roster-based type of a contract, or then already has a separate contract. So in this sense, Solvd serves as one point of contact, so the client does not need to deal with multiple contracts and so forth. Something that is coming up, there will be some changes in this mobilizing teams and hiring process, because in about 6 months, we are rolling out a expert matching algorithm, which is going to help us do the matchmaking. So it is going to considerably reduce the time on finding the experts. Of course, we're also going to still be working on verifying and validating the information and expertise, but it will definitely help us and the client to get matches much faster. And in addition to this, we're also bringing out digital transactions. So also the hiring process is going to be much faster. So there will be no separate contracts as in typical contracts, but they will be also done digitally online. So in terms of the mobilizing teams and hiring process, would you have any questions? Have you yourself tried or gone through this process yet? Any of you? Okay. Then, if we go through, now that we've talked about the expert marketplace in general, and about mobilizing teams and how to hire through them, what happens afterwards is actually working on the Solvd platform. And let's then go to the projects. So if you look at the projects over here, what happens is that whenever a client creates the project and solicits information and solicits experts, this is the same chat room where all the work is then taking place. This is an interesting publicized project that we're working on, creating a zero island in Sweden. This is a very good example of this multidisciplinary approach and how we bring everybody together into one space. The point is, very often in Solvd projects, is that environmental challenges are complex and then they require a very holistic approach. And by bringing different people from different sectors and also very often from different locations, this is really something that helps the team navigate together and communicate together. So for example, here we have 3 experts who are working on different issues, looking at different perspectives. One more from an energy side, one from a waste side, another one from food technology. We also have the island owners who are participating in this discussion, and we also have a marketing agency working with us, as well as the client itself. So this is, as we call, the co-creation space that helps the project team to really communicate together and share information. Of course, it still means that you do meet separately physically. We do visit the premises. For example, there has been several visits to the island. We have also physical workshops and meetings separately from this, but this is the place that holds everything together. It is very easy to invite people to this project. For example, it's just writing a name and adding a person. Here as well, it is easy to structure and kind of filter through themes. For example, here we have all the different things that we are working on. Then if not themes, for example, if you look for something food production, immediately you see everything related to that. You can also filter through posts and files and events. Something that is actually coming up as well at the end of October is we will have also improvements into the project feed. There would be, for example, previews for the files that are currently viewed as this. Here's also information that you can always access about the project itself. And of course, you can always get in contact with anyone very quickly by clicking on profiles, looking at the biographies, and then immediately starting to chat with the person if you would like to have an individual chat. So this is an example of a project and a project feed. Do you have any questions regarding this? I will check who is in, and Lucas is here. Okay, if you do not have any questions regarding the marketplace itself and the work on the marketplace, I'm just gonna go and tell you about our white label solution. So as you already heard, our marketplace was created to help people really come together and find each other to create positive impact and do good things in the world. We created this technology that would host and enable such interactions. And due to some fairly positive feedback about collaborating on our platform, we have decided to actually create a white label solution of this platform. So we are now providing a white label solution to clients who want to create their own marketplaces and ecosystems online. And this means that we provide the platform in different brandings, and the clients can make it look like their own and create their own ecosystem inside, or create their own ecosystem based on the technology that Solvd provides. And here is a really good example. I will start a little bit just to show you, for example, Smart and Clean solution and platform, and then an Energy Web Connect platform. These are all public platforms, which is the reason why I'm showing you them. So here is, for example, the ecosystem and platform of Smart and Clean Foundation. They're using our technology to create their own community. Smart and Clean Foundation, they are building a smarter and a better Helsinki. So they have different kind of projects in Helsinki, and they have stakeholders in the entire Finland. So here is their own community. So this is not our community, this is their community. These are their people, and it works exactly the same way, but it is their own workplace online. So here's their community, and here are their projects. And one of the projects that I have worked on, for example, together with them and facilitated, is this project where new ideas were sought for urban food. This is a crowdsourcing project where ideas were asked online on social media to provide different ideas about what kind of solutions could come for urban food. And people were asked to sign up to this platform and to this project. And here are the people from different fields of work who just started co-creating together and working together, providing ideas. So there are different kind of ways how the platform can be used, and what kind of projects can be held on the platform. A similar example is, for example, this Energy Web Foundation. Their platform looks like it's theirs, their own people. They are not really related to Solvd. They have their own community. So they see when they use this platform that this is fully Energy Web platform, not a Solvd platform. And you can also have different kind of categories. For example, you can categorize, they have affiliates, ecosystem, Energy Web Foundation, and so forth. The same for organizations. You can categorize them as you wish. So this is our new product that was launched in 2018, and one of our biggest clients in this is the United Smart Cities. And Lucas from the United Smart Cities is here, has joined us here to tell us more about their case and how they're using our platform.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Lucas. I'm a head of communications in the United Smart Cities program. United Smart Cities is a global UN Smart City program to implement urban projects around the world. It was established 3 years ago by the UNECE in Geneva and the OIER, Organization for International Economic Relations, in Vienna. And the aim is to bring together various stakeholders, such as cities with their projects and issues, companies, industry partners with solutions, experts from the UN, urban experts, as well as finance institutions to fund and invest in these kind of projects. And our goal is to realize projects in various sectors, such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, mobility, energy, waste management, and therefore we'll search for a platform where we can matchmake all these stakeholders, as I mentioned before. And why we use the marketplace, because we or the United Smart Cities Investment Marketplace is because it's a great first step get together for these experts to like show the idea of the projects, because what is possible on the USC marketplace is that we have different phases, like the idea phase, where you really can position just your first thoughts about the project and develop with different partners so that you can get funding in the end. Or you straight look for solution providers all over the world, and as well as the implementation phase, the financing phase, and the mentoring phase, where cities around the world can position their projects, which they did in their city, to show other cities that they don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. They can just take their solutions if they have same requirements. And why is it important to use the marketplace for us? Because we have, of course, we interact internationally, but we also want to involve with the local specialists, such as startups, the local community, and the local industry partners, because they really understand the situation itself and the issue the city has. And the marketplace really enables us to interact with all these partners and bring them on the table to get first contact. And then it's also important to have like a discussion physically, where we want to have these project partners on the table to develop a project. And that's how the marketplace works. And we are currently approaching Europe as well as South America, Africa and Asia, with a great response from cities. So we hope to use the platform and grow projects in here.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions regarding this? Okay. Let me just then.
Excuse me, this is Gisela speaking. Do you hear me? Yes. I'm really curious about United Smart Cities and how they use Solv's platform. So I would like to get in contact and see if I can bring some ideas or some expertise from my side.
Katja, could you share our contact details?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe if there are no questions, we could do just a little session saying what were your impressions of Solved, and what were your impressions of the products and services.
Well, I actually do have a question, but it is not related to any of those topics you mentioned. My question is about ideas that actually don't have a funding yet, because as far as I understood, you're actually hosting project management for projects which do have funding, right? Yeah. So my question would be, do you also host projects that actually don't have funding yet, which are not really appropriate for things like Kickstarter and so on, which are, let's say, more related to the topics that you are dealing with? Yeah. Environment, mobility, sustainability, and so on.
Yeah. So most of the things that Solved works on is actually, or that Solved facilitates and helps to find experts, are related to kind of the early stages and design stage of each project. So in that sense, we do have projects very often in a project idea phase. And very often this might be some kind of a project where someone's actually looking to develop a concept for which they are going to look for funding later on. Or there are projects where people are actually helping, or experts are helping to map out different funding possibilities. For example, we had one kind of a project in Myanmar. So we were helping our client to find out what kind of funding possibilities there are for waste to energy solutions. There are 2 big landfills in Myanmar that have a lot of waste there, and so there is a big potential that there could be some kind of energy to waste solution, right, where this waste would be used. But because it's Myanmar, it's also a little bit in terms of where does the funding come from. So the project was to map out, identify and map out potential public funding and potential private funding as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just that in this case, of course, the experts would somehow help voluntarily, if I got it right.
No, well, this is not voluntarily. So this was an assignment. This was an assignment that the expert was contracted for. There are 3 different ways, actually, like how to participate in projects. One way is really being an expert, a contracted expert. This is where you have an assignment. This is where you get paid for everything that you do for your hours. Second thing is where you can be a contributor. Very often we have kind of companies that are service and solution providers. They might be tech companies, engineering companies. They may be very interested in participating in certain design projects just because they would like to have their own solutions used during the implementation stage.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a kind of a contributor type that they come in as idea providers. So they do provide input and design together, but they are not paid experts, but they're rather contributors.
So kind of supporters of an idea. Of a
And then there's a third kind of way how people can participate in projects, and that's really just as an observer. And these are, of course, the kind of projects that are not non-confidential. So if it's a confidential project and there is a project team, it's just a consulting project. But then if there are possibilities of like public projects, then there's always a possibility to be an observer. An observer is very often somebody like a student, a researcher, somebody who can definitely contribute with information and may be extremely passionate about the topic, but then they're not in any ways really professionally pursuing issues, just out of interest.
Okay, what about Solved in this case? Because I would say, I think normally you would get a part of those funds that are allocated to a project or something.
Say it again.
So in normal projects, those that are paid, you probably get a fee or something.
Yeah. It's so the project budget always consists of the expert hourly or daily rates plus a 10% solved fee.
Okay. What about in the case when, sorry, what about the case that I mentioned? Would Solve then host such a project initiative without costs?
Sorry, you're talking about if there is no,
no experts involved, yeah. You know, where there is a project idea, where some supporters would back in, and it would develop without any money transfer. In that case, you would get 10% of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why most of we don't really have that kind of project except our student challenges. So we do student challenges where students are come in to solve a certain problem or challenge. And these are the kind of free projects where there's no transactions. But it's still beneficial for the client, and it's beneficial for the students.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So anybody else, any feedback that you would like to share? Actually, I see that Dima wrote, good, no, for the white label. So Slack, Microsoft Teams, alternative. Basically, but a little bit broader than that. So if you think about Slack is a messaging tool. And the idea is really to work together with existing teams that you already have. Not so much as in a matchmaking and ecosystem kind of co-creation tool, but certainly a lot of similar elements. So as all of these Slacks and Microsoft Teams and many other platforms, everybody is in somewhat similar but somewhat different. And where we are different is that it's really it enables like an exponential growth of your ecosystem. It enables managing your people all in one place, having them all in one place, and then also being able to launch projects in the same place where all your people are and work on them under one interface with different team compositions. And something that is specifically very like distinctive is the fact that you're able to brand it according to your own colors, and have your own logos. Then when it comes to training, involved in training, well, I personally was referring to just training and webinars, talking it's a marketing initiative to help our community understand what we do better. Great. So I guess if nobody else has any questions or comments, does Suvi or Riku or Ronald, by any chance?
No, at least Riku doesn't have any questions.
Riku doesn't have any questions. And Suvi? Okay. Good. Thank you very much. I'm going to send you a a short feedback form that I hope you are going to fill out to help me and us better improve our webinar presentation. And also, I again apologize a little bit about the link in the beginning. It's certainly not something that I do typically, but this time the link had somehow didn't work. In any case, I wish you all a really nice evening, and I hope to be working with you all, either as clients or as experts. And yes, have a really wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you.